Novlett Robyn Williams, Superintendent, Metropolitan Police, was dismissed from the force following a misconduct hearing in 2020 after she was found to have breached the standards of professional behaviour in the fact that she failed to report a child abuse video that was sent to her. Williams was said to have been one of the country's most senior black female police officers, which should give you an idea as to why this has played out the way that it has. Williams was sent an unsolicited video on WhatsApp of a child being abused in February 2018 by her sister, who said she wanted the paedophile who was behind the abuse hunted down and caught. Williams said at the time that she never even watched the video, which was accepted by a jury when they acquitted her of covering up the knowledge of the video in order to protect her sister. Although I call bullshit on that, because of two reasons. Number one, if you're a copper and you receive a file from someone that you know saying this is child abuse, you need to catch the abuser, you're not simply going to ignore it. Your copper's nose will want to be all over it because, as we all know, coppers simply can't help but get themselves involved in fucking everything. And number two, copper or not, if a family member sends a video file on WhatsApp, you are not going to watch it. Even if you don't reply to videos family members send you, you'll watch it to see what it is. So I don't believe a word of it that she never even watched it, not for a moment. However, an appeal jury did believe her. Maybe that's because she was the Metropolitan Police's token senior officer. I mean, black and female, she must be innocent, right? Oh, and did I mention she was the founder member, or a founder member, of the National Black Police Association? Make from that what you will. Back in November 2019, she was found guilty by a 10-1 majority verdict of possessing the 54-second long video, but was spared jail and instead given 200 hours of community service. Her sister, Jennifer Hodge, and Hodge's partner, bus driver Dido Massivi, were also found guilty of offences. Hodge was convicted by the jury of distributing an indecent image of a child and sentenced to 100 hours of community service, and Diddy was convicted of 2 counts of distributing an indecent photograph of a child and 1 count of possessing an extreme pornographic image portraying a person having sex with a horse. However, he was spared jail as well and given an 18-month suspended sentence for 2 years with 200 hours of community service. Although the 3 of them were put on the sex offenders register, Hodge and Williams for 5 years and Massivi for 10. Now I'll tell you what makes me sick is that someone convicted of 2 counts of distributing an indecent photograph of a child and 1 count of possessing an extreme pornographic image portraying a person having sex with a horse got the same fucking sentence as I did for growing a bit of weed. What the fuck? In fact, I was also on tag for 12 weeks and on probation for a fucking year. Williams was tipped as a future Metropolitan Police Commissioner, was awarded the Queen's Police Medal for Distinguished Service in 2003 and a Royal Warrant the previous year. Well, Novlett Robyn Williams, not one to ignore the wave of wokery permeating through society, decided to take her dismissal from the Metropolitan Police to the Police Appeals Tribunal. And back in June 2021, while the rest of us were stuck under threat of court, but unable to attend due to COVID restrictions, etc., Williams actually managed to get her matter heard at the Police Appeals Tribunal. What a surprise. Where she managed to successfully overturn the Met's decision to dismiss her and was reinstated as a police officer after the tribunal found that she should not have been dismissed and instead should have received a final written warning. In other words, sacking a black female officer would be detrimental to the Metropolitan Police rather than beneficial when it comes to how the public perceive them. The Metropolitan Police took the decision back to the High Court again at the beginning of July this year, to the High Court, where they argued that it was perverse and unreasonable, and that Williams' dismissal was the only possible outcome. Well, finally something I think we can agree with, Metropolitan Police. But on Tuesday, the 26th of July, Novlett's namesake, Mrs. Justice Heather Williams, rejected the Metropolitan Police's bid to overturn the Police Appeal Tribunal's decision. Judge Williams said that this should have been regarded as an exceptional case in which dismissal for gross misconduct was not necessary and proportionate sanctions. Exceptional case. Why? Because she's black and female. Well, for those of you still watching, we will find out exactly why Judge Williams thought this was an exceptional case soon as I have the full court ruling, and I will be going through that with you soon here on the channel, where we will get to hear everything, including what the mainstream media hasn't or won't publish. Judge Williams went on to say that the Police Appeal Tribunal reached its decision to reinstate Novlett because of the unique circumstances of the conviction, the officer's stellar career, the substantial impact she had on enhancing a reputation of the Metropolitan Police Service as a whole, and its assessment that her dismissal would reduce confidence in the police in some of the communities in which the Metropolitan Police Service had struggled to gain trust. So basically, they don't want to upset the minority communities of London. Never mind the fact that she had possession of a child abuse video and failed to report it, even if you do believe she didn't watch it, which is highly unlikely. I mean, I genuinely doubt very much that her sister sent a video without any accompanying text to ask her to look at it because of what it was. But if you want to believe that, then that's fine. In fact, during the trial at the Old Bailey, jurors heard how she received a child abuse video from WhatsApp from her older sister, Jennifer Hodge, so that she could investigate the footage. So that alone would suggest that it was accompanied by some text to explain what it was and what she wanted Novlett to do. And as I said, being a copper, there is absolutely no way she would not have watched it to see what it was. Scotland Yard also challenged the reinstatement of a Detective Constable Aswina Gutty, who was dismissed following her conviction for assaulting her then partner, before the Police Appeal Tribunal decided that dismissal was too harsh for her and that she should have received a final written warning instead. But Judge Williams also rejected the Met's challenge to the conclusion and concluded that a final written warning was suitable in the unusual circumstances of the case. Notice anything unusual here? Both women, both evidently not white, and both cases were exceptional or unusual, both descriptions alluding to the same thing. Andy George, president of the National Black Police Association, Andy George, president of the National Black Police Association, who I'm sure laid no pressure whatsoever on the courts, said of the Williams case, "So glad to hear this verdict, and hopefully the Met will allow Robyn to get on with her career in peace. It should never have taken this long, and forces need to stop hounding black officers and staff in a way they wouldn't for the majority of our colleagues." So, and I will bring you the full judgment soon, but who else can guess who the next Met Commissioner will be when the current Commissioner Mark Rowley fails? Personally, I don't think it's got anything to do with the colour of the skin. By the way, having a black Commissioner won't make a blind bit of difference to the overall issues the Metropolitan Police face. A single person at the helm of a dysfunctional organisation who sits in their office all day or attend meetings and special dinners paid for by the taxpayer will never be able to effect change in an organisation that's failed so many times, that's destroyed itself in such a spectacular fashion, and whose goals now are to try and build a force that comprised of equal amounts white and black and men and women and trans, while eliminating the standards that used to be in place, such as a 5'7" height requirement, a certain fitness level, the actual ability to do the bloody job. But of course, those requirements were deemed to be indirect discrimination, and so were scrapped. Now we take on anybody. I mean, just look at what we've got now. So, if you want to see the deep dive into the High Court judgment over this case, stick around, as I will be going through it in the near future. Feel free to register to the mailing list, policeabusingpowers.co.uk. That mailing list is solely used to let people know when a new video has been uploaded, because YouTube have a habit of not notifying everybody. through the mailing list, you're guaranteed a notification.